Hello everybody, my name is Aurora Castillo and today I will give a short lessons on the maintenance of life. First, I will begin with the major requirements of organisms. The first is water, which is a chemical substance used for metabolic reactions to carry substances and to regulate body temperature. Next is food, which includes various chemical substances that supply energy and raw materials to produce necessary substances and to regulate vital reactions. Third is oxygen, which is another chemical substance that aids in releasing energy from food substances in order to drive metabolic processes. Heat is a form of energy that regulates rate of metabolic reactions. Pressure is an application of force on an object or substance, and atmospheric pressure is used for breathing, and hydrostatic pressure helps circulate blood. Homeostasis is the ability of the body to keep its internal conditions stable. All cells make some specific contribution, whether part of a tissue, organ, or organ system, to keep this internal environment relatively constant despite that outside environment. Homeostasis is critical for our survival. It uses a set of mechanisms for our body to maintain internal consistency of temperature, energy availability, and pH. We are warm-blooded, so our body requires us to metabolize constantly, and failure of our body to maintain this dynamic equilibrium may lead to the breakdown, gathering of waste, and even death. Homeostatic mechanisms are self-regulating control systems which are based on feedback loops. They all share three components. First are receptors, which are always on the lookout. They provide information about specific conditions in the internal environment. An example would be peripheral chemoreceptors that detect changes in the blood pH. The second is the control center, the decision maker, which has a set point, such as body temperature at 37 degrees Celsius. The third are effectors, which act to cause appropriate responses. Examples would be muscles and glands. An example would be kidneys that retain water if blood pressure is too low. The negative feedback mechanism, or negative feedback loop, reduces output or activity to return an organ or system to normal range of function. As the effector is activated or deactivated, so conditions return toward normal activity. Deviation from set point lessens, and the effector activity returns to normal, original levels. An example would be regulation of the body temperature. We have this control center of the brain called the hypothalamus, which we have this body temperature sensitive region in there. And then we have a set point in our body thermostat to be 37 degrees Celsius. So when we become too hot, the temperature receptors in the body detect the change, and the hypothalamus initiates a series of actions in order for our body to cool down. And then sweat glands in the skin secrete water perspiration that evaporates, carries away heat, and cools the skin. And the blood vessels in the skin dilate, which allow more blood that carry heat from deeper tissues to reach the surface out where heat is lost on the outside. And when somebody gets too cold, we have these thermoreceptors that can detect the change, and the hypothalamus initiates heat conserving activities, and we see the blood vessels in the skin constrict that reduce blood flow and enable deeper tissues to retain heat. And we also see that the muscle cells may be stimulated to have this action of shivering, which produces heat and helps warm the body. The positive feedback mechanism is when change is not reversed but intensified and is designed to push levels out of more normal ranges. A series of events initiates a cascading process that builds to increase effector activity. This process can be beneficial, but it is rarely used because it may become uncontrollable. And examples are blood clotting, which minimizes bleeding, and also the increase in strength of uterine contractions during childbirth. And these are few examples that are very specific and short-lived. Thank you for watching.